Well, Richard, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. And as a newcomer to Country TV and the Daily Report, love to hear about yourself and where you're farming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So we're 30 kilometres southwest of Blenheim. I'm the third generation on our family farm called the Pyramid. So we're 600 hectares here, which includes 100 hectares of viticulture, 100 hectares of farm forestry. And so that leaves us with about 400 hectares of effective grazing land. We run a commercial ewe flock. Farm system tends to be, we aim for a high clearance prime off mum, sort of 80 to 90% of decent carcass weights, and fatten a few Frisian bulls, and also dairy support, Jersey bulls for the dairy industry. So between that, wife Jess, 2 young girls, and industry body commitments. Never a dull moment.
Yes, as you say, ask a busy man and you get the job done. Obviously, with a property like that, there's lots of versatility, having the viticulture and the stock, etc.
Yeah, diversity was always a strength of ours, and we've certainly inherited the farm system from my father. So Jess and I purchased the stock plant and machinery a couple of years ago. So we were in a position to really hit the ground running. The livestock operations really well diversified in terms of leased bulls, fattening bulls, finishing lambs, but then also, of course, the farm forestry and viticulture income as well. So yeah, plenty going on.
And is it good rain, and is it a good, or is it dry land?
Call it healthy country. Good healthy stock, which basically means it's dry. System works really well in that the Jersey bulls obviously go out to the dairy farm the 3rd week of October, which coincidentally is when we hit the soil moisture deficit traditionally. And then our first lamb draft is the 1st week of November, and main weaning the 3rd week. All prime stock are sold before Christmas. So it's dry, it's healthy. We have a system to suit, and after 3 generations, I like to think we're okay at it, pretty good at it.
So now you're the Vice President of Marlborough Federated Farmers, and I guess the question is, what is troubling or exercising your members at the moment in Marlborough?
Yeah, the emissions are very, very topical at the moment. It seems to be ruling the roost. There's plenty of other industry issues, from labour issues, winter grazing, animal welfare, etc. But no, top of the pile is definitely emissions, which is on everyone's minds.
And what are your thoughts? What do you think? Are you agreeing with He Waka Eke Noa, what it's come up with, or do you have another plan that you would like to see come to fruition?
Oh, look, as an executive, we've been fairly critical of He Waka Eke Noa from the outset, and saw some of the fallacies from very early on. It was interesting. We could sort of pick holes in it, and people would say, "Well, what's your plan then? Come up with an alternative," and which was a wee bit ironic in that it took 12 industry groups 2 years to come up with He Waka. So the thought of a couple of farmers coming up with their own plan was a wee bit rich. But recently we thought, oh well, let's get on and do with it, and work on our own framework. So that's what we have developed here. And important to note, it is just a framework. It obviously requires a lot more detail, but we think we've come up with something that farmers and politicians and the general public really could back. We've called it the Streamlined Emissions Reduction Plan. And that's what this is all about, really. We keep getting told we have to do something as an industry. We have to act and do our part. Well, paying these meaningless taxes isn't necessarily doing our part. What is doing our part is lowering emissions. And we think this is the best pathway forward to do it. So our proposal focuses on incentives and technology over taxes, it will result in reduced emissions as opposed to increasing global emissions through emissions leakage. We'd have a thriving industry instead of a crippled one, and I'd like to think we'd have widespread farmer support as opposed to the sort of division and outrage that we're seeing at the moment.
How are you going to get that message across? Have you put it to the executive team at Fed Farmers and got their viewpoint?
Yeah, it's certainly going through the right processes at the moment. So we've obviously, as a Marlborough exec, we've asked our members and have had significant backing, and currently going through the Meat and Wool Council. Have asked a few industry leaders their thoughts, and hey, look, feedback's been reasonably positive so far. So just going through the right processes. Meat and Wool Council are fairly happy so far, and like I said, it's just a framework. The policy team and staff might look into it and dig into a bit more detail and say, hey, this is a major issue, or this won't work. But look, we've been told we need to come up with ideas, and we've certainly done that. So hopefully we see things progress in the near future.